Okay, this does not belong at the top. That belongs to the bottom for the next resume. Serviceable patch. Okay, so all this stuff you don't want to say. So everything you guys are putting in your summaries should be communicated by your resume. And a lot of this too, you have to be careful about how you phrase things. So this particular person do you want to call yourself? So here you were doing, wow. I mean, this is great. So this person, this is actually a very good resume. If you want to be like, for example, if you want to be a family law attorney, which it looks like you might, this is a very good resume for that. And almost what I would do, honestly, is if you want to get a family law job, and you can, and I don't ever advise people not to take things off their resume, not talk about their current employer, but this isn't really relevant to be a family law attorney. So this I would, you need to, all this stuff needs to be short. It's just too much information. And the best attorneys do not need to write all this stuff. So you just want to basically just get it down. You need to, really shorten this resume up. And here, if you're a compliance review attorney, I think you're better off. Probably you have to think about what the titles you use are and what you're talking about. But people need to look at your resume and they need to see some sort of focus. And the focus needs to be direct. So they want to know what exactly it is you're doing. They want to understand they want to see some sort of consistency, because right now, like when you look at this Ascent Red Tech, it throws people off because all of a sudden it looks like you're doing something different than you were doing before. And when you were doing this job for a year and 3 months, and then this other one for over a year. So it's just actually paralegal. Put down paralegal there. I wouldn't even say anything about it. I would just say prepared litigation pleas to sit there, and I had paralegal. Okay, so you were paralegal after you graduated. I see. Okay, I don't understand that, but that's okay. And then when was bar admissions? Oh, it's September 19th. Okay, so that's okay. So it looks like it just took a while to graduate to pass the bar, or they didn't take the bar until later. But anything you can do not to draw a lot of attention to that would be good. But just don't put down the dates. I would just put member of Missouri State Bar and leave it at that. And I would just be a little careful about that, how you do that. Okay, so again, take off these dates. I would take off ABA, and I would take off all this. And so a lot of this stuff, by the way, is just, you need to put people on a course, and people need to understand who you are. So here it looks like you had pretty good experience. And if you were a family law attorney and I saw your resume and you were in Missouri and I saw this, I would say this is someone I'd want to represent, because there's a lot of demand for that. Now that I see this, that you moved to Chicago, it makes it a little difficult, because I'm like, I don't know why they're doing this anymore. So it's just something to think about, like the focus. Everyone's resume needs a focus. Okay. So 9 years of diverse experience. Okay. So again, all this stuff here really needs to come off. It's just, it's not helping anyone. I don't know what this employer is. And it may just because the things aren't translating correctly, but I don't know what this employer is. Let's see here. Okay. Maybe you're working for Secretary of Labor. Okay. I don't know. So I would take a close look at that, like how that's working. This is great. The Reed Law Firm. So you were there for 3 years. Again, it looks like you're doing all these different sorts of things. If you emphasize this, by the way, this resume here, everybody has this. If you have 3 different practice areas, you can apply to a firm and just talk about your family law experience in your cover letter. That's one option in your resume. So if you wanted to get a family law position, which is very marketable right now, you could do that. If you're just trying to get a civil litigation job, then you can go, you just take all this out. But anything you do that paints yourself into one corner of doing one type of work is going to hurt you. So you need to be careful about that. And then here you're doing family law too. I think this is a great family law resume. There's a lot of demand right now for family law. And this looks like what this is. It looks like things got cut up here. Somehow this ended up down there. So that's great. United States Department of Labor. So that's great. So now this person is an employment attorney. I would try to, in my resume, everything I did here, I would try to make it look more like I'm doing anything related to employment work, and just leave it at that. That's how I would do that. I would, if you want to stay in employment, because here you were doing or talk about litigation or something along those lines. And then I would also, if I could, make these a little bit shorter, these descriptions. But this is a good resume. You should also get a position at your admissions. You can just clean those up. But I don't think this person will have too much trouble getting something to even transition you back to a law firm. But it looks like you have a pretty good job now. So I don't know why necessarily do that, but that's up to you. But yeah, shorten up these descriptions. Let's see. Florida Coastal School of Law, 2011 representative cases.